can you tell us about what's going on right now? What do we know about the fate of these activists?
Well, the latest news from the Israeli sources is that the Israeli Navy right now is dragging the flotilla to the port of Ashdod, about 40 kilometers away from where I'm standing here, north of Gaza. What happened is that at 4 o'clock a.m. Local time, the Israeli Navy intercepted the flotilla. It was about 60 to 70, 65 nautical miles away from the shores of Gaza. And with the reinforcement, the aerial reinforcement, helicopters, gunboats, warships surrounded the flotilla, attacked and stormed the ship. It's conflicting reports. Some reports saying that the number has risen to 25, but what is confirmed right now is 16. In addition to 60 were wounded. And the latest is that Sheikh Ra'id Salah, according to somebody on board the ship, he's among the casualties. He was killed. Sheikh Ra'id Salah is the head of the Islamic movement inside the Green Line, or inside occupied Palestine. The local authorities here, Hamas, has condemned this act and described it as a war crime against humanity. And it urged the international community, especially the UN, to intervene and protect this flotilla, the humanitarian convoy. About 750, of course, people, some of them children, old people, civilians. They are being attacked by armed Navy commandos. I was told that these people were carrying white flags, and they sent SOS messages by the Israeli commanders. They continued to attack them, firing live rounds, gas canisters, attacking them. The preparations here, it's really very angry day for the Palestinians, very sad. The Palestinians are very angry. Of course, the pro-Palestinian activists all over the world are very angry. They didn't expect the Israeli Navy, to be, to use such lethal force against civilians who are delivering humanitarian supplies, about 10,000 tons of humanitarian supplies. It's a symbolic thing to bring to the people of Gaza, but they wanted to draw attention of the international community to Israel's ongoing siege that has been in place for almost 3 years. There will be a press conference here by probably Hamas Prime Minister. Rallies will be held today, organized by Palestinians. Different factions will take place: Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Popular Front. Everybody is angry. Everybody is expecting the international community, expecting some countries to defend its citizens, to pressure Israel to end its attacks on the ship, and to pressure Israel to allow the flotilla to dock in Gaza here. This port has been ready for almost a month to receive the flotilla. I was told that the Israeli Defense Minister, Ehud Barak, he's actually in charge of this operation, which they called it Sky Winds. Also, I would like to add that, as you may know, that Turkey has already summoned its ambassador in Israel, and Turkey is considering reprisal. We expect demonstrations and rallies opposite Israeli consulate and embassies all over the world. The latest in Gaza also is that Israel today has shut down all crossings suddenly. Also, I can hear drones flying above our heads. It's actually a very sad situation indeed, very serious development, and the number of casualties is expected to rise as the Navy is now in charge of the flotilla, using lethal force. Of course, you saw the footage from the live streaming. There was a state of panic, and people were, asking for help, but they did not get, protection. The Israeli Navy, backed with commandos, Apaches, gunships, attacked the civilians. Of course, there will be more developments if we get in touch with someone or, on board the ships, because the telecommunication and signals are jammed. The reactions also from Gaza is that the people of Gaza, they want the whole world to react, and they expect, Turkey, to cut the diplomatic ties with Israel over the attack.
Okay, Yusuf, this is Marzia. You said that the points inside of, I want you to reiterate that because I wasn't clear on what you just said. Inside, are the checkpoints inside of Israel itself, you said that they have totally been shut down since this attack?
No, I meant there are 5 crossings controlled by Israel. Israel has shut them down today. Usually it opens them partially to allow some basic supplies. But today, suddenly, as a matter of fact, Israel decided to shut all of the crossings, fearing there might be some reprisals by Palestinian resistance factions because they threaten that they will take action and respond and retaliate against the Israeli attack on the peaceful humanitarian convoy.
Yes, we also have reports, of course, that Israel has gone on high alert since the attacks have taken place. And it's interesting that you mentioned that the Israeli Defense Minister, Ehud Barak, was in charge of the operation. I find it very interesting that the Defense Minister was in charge of an operation in dealing with a humanitarian convoy.
Exactly. And we had also a news that Yusuf was telling us. Yusuf, you said that Sheikh Ra'ed Salah, head of the Islamic movement in Israel, has been killed. So can we confirm now that one of those killed in the convoy was Sheikh Ra'ed Salah? And how did you get that information?
Well, according to news sources on board the ship, using somehow they managed to use wireless telecommunication through the laptops. They said that he was severely injured intentionally. He was intentionally killed by the Israeli Navy as soon as they saw him. And they're saying that obviously he passed away from his injuries.
And also, we're a bit now confused about the fate of the Turkish ships. A lot of reports saying that it's being transferred and the activists on board may be jailed or deported. So what do we know about that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the Navy now is dragging this flotilla to the port of Ashdod. And they earlier said that they will deport the internationals and they will detain the Israeli citizens and they will interrogate the Palestinians. We do not know whether the Israeli Navy has offered medical care for the people who have been injured so far. Of course, they were prepared for this confrontation, but they didn't expect it to be in this brutality. Facing a human. Convoy, peaceful protesters who were carrying white flags.
Yusuf, I'm going to have to interrupt you. We're going to switch over. We have the Prime Minister of the Gaza Strip, Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas, who is speaking. We're going to be switching over to him. What we have, again, so far is that at least 20 people have been killed on an Israeli attack on a 6-ship humanitarian convoy that left Cyprus on Sunday and was headed to the Gaza Strip. Now what we're seeing are live images from Gaza, an official reaction from Hamas. Of course, Hamas is the government that is in control of the Gaza Strip. And what we know is that for 3 years that the Gaza Strip has been under siege because of Hamas being democratic elected. Now we're going to switch over to Ismail Haniyeh and listen to what he is saying.